The Astral Phoenix glided silently through the outer edge of the Cygnus Rift, a celestial river known for its beautiful ion storms and its terrifyingly dangerous gravitational bursts. On the bridge, Zog, the ship's four-armed engineer, was multitasking as usual. With 3 hands, he meticulously repaired a sparking plasma conduit, while his fourth hand held a glowing space pear, from which he took a thoughtful bite.
"Captain," he said, his voice muffled by the fruit, "the sensors are acting weird again."
"It's not just a standard grav pulse. It's like something out there is
bending time itself." Nina turned from the viewport, her gaze shifting to the holographic star map floating in the center of the bridge. A single point of light pulsed, shifting from an angry red to a cold blue, and then it simply vanished.
"What in the galaxies?"
she murmured. Before she could finish, the entire ship shook violently, a low groan echoing through the hull. A blinding shockwave of pure light washed over them, and for a split second, everything froze. The dust motes dancing in the air hung motionless. Zog's pear stopped mid-fall, and the frantic alerts on the console held their breath. Then, just as suddenly, motion returned. Zog's eyes were wide. "That was a Starshock pulse," he stammered.
"Those only come from
a time cradle," Nina finished, her voice barely a whisper. The words hung in the air, heavy with myth. Time cradles were the stuff of legends, ancient machines built by a long-extinct civilization called the Arindari, rumored to be capable of storing and manipulating fragments of time itself.
If one had just activated,
the entire galaxy could be in danger. A quick scan confirmed their fears.
The pulse originated from Arindar 6, a forbidden planet sealed off by galactic treaty, a graveyard world filled with the ruins of its creators. There was no choice. They had to investigate.
As the Astral Phoenix descended through the planet's turbulent atmosphere, Nina strapped her chronoblade to her hip, its hilt cool against her hand. Zog tapped a device on his belt, and a faint shimmer enveloped him, a personal field designed to protect against temporal distortion. The landing ramp lowered, revealing a wasteland that defied logic. Rocks floated lazily in the air, gnarled trees grew upside down with their roots clawing at the sky, and rivers of murky water flowed backward into their sources.
Time here wasn't just distorted, it was broken.
"Zog," Nina whispered, her hand hovering over her blade. "Stay close."
Suddenly, a figure flickered into existence behind them. Then it was in front of them. Then beside them. It was all 3 at once, a shimmering afterimage of movement. A humanoid creature with glowing silver lines tracing patterns across its face stood before them, wearing a tattered Arindari cloak. Echo," the being said, its voice a strange chorus, layered with the echoes of multiple timelines. "The cradle
has awakened." Echo led them through the chaotic landscape, explaining the catastrophe. "Someone has stolen the cradle's heart, the Eum core. It is the anchor that holds this world, and all of time together. Without it, everything will unravel."
"Who took it?" Nina asked, her knuckles white as she gripped her weapon. Echo's eyes, which seemed to hold glimpses of past and future, flickered with something like fear.
"The Chrono Reaver." The name was a dark whisper from the most forbidden corners of the galactic archives.
"A creature of nightmare who devours time from living beings, stealing their future and wearing their stolen years as a mantle of power."
Zog swallowed hard, the last of his space pair forgotten.
"He's real?"
Echo nodded solemnly. "He seeks to use the core to forge a new timeline, where he becomes the absolute ruler of the galaxy." They arrived at the time cradle. It was a colossal machine, shaped like a spiraling hourglass, floating silently above the fractured ground.
Rippling distortions, like heat haze, surrounded it, warping the very air.
Inside, the laws of physics became mere suggestions. The corridors shifted and reformed around them. Nina was assaulted by visions of her childhood, a forgotten memory of a scraped knee and her father's reassuring smile. Zog saw phantom versions of himself flash past, some heroic, clad in decorated uniforms, others terrifying and broken. Beside them, Echo flickered between ages, a wide-eyed child one moment, a wizened elder the next. At the very center of the temporal storm, they found him.
The Chrono Reaver. He was tall and skeletal, his armor crafted from shattered clockwork and gears that spun in reverse. His cloak was a swirling vortex of stolen timelines, faces of his victims screaming silently within its folds. And embedded in his chest, pulsing with stolen power, was the Aeon Core. "You cannot stop me!" he growled, his voice a grating of metal on stone. "I have existed in 1,000 futures, and in all of them I win." With a battle cry, Zog charged, his plasma blade igniting in a flash. But as he swung, the Reaver simply vanished, reappearing behind him in a blink. Nina lunged, her chronoblade slicing through the air, creating sparks that seemed to cut through time itself. But the villain just phased through her attack, intangible. Echo cried out, their layered voice strained. "You must anchor him to the present." Thinking fast, Nina unslung her temporal grappler, a device designed to lock a being to a single moment. She fired. The glowing cord shot out and latched onto the Reaver's shoulder. He screamed, not in pain, but in outrage, as his form solidified, trapped in the now. Seeing his chance, Zog unleashed a furious four-armed assault. But the Reaver was immensely powerful. He absorbed their blows as if they were nothing, then lifted a skeletal hand. Time froze. Zog was locked mid-punch, his face a mask of effort. The very air grew still. Only Nina, protected by a failsafe in her suit, remained free. The Reaver laughed, a dry, rattling sound. "I feed on your future. And you have so much left to lose." He reached a clawed hand toward her. But in that frozen moment, Echo leapt in front of Nina, intercepting the attack. Their body didn't bleed. It shattered into a million glowing particles of light, a sacrifice made across all their timelines at once. "No!" Nina shouted into the silence. Rage, cold and pure, flooded her. She slammed a palm against her chest plate, activating her suit's chrono burst, a desperate, risky maneuver that burns the user's own lifespan for a moment of impossible speed. The world became a blur. She was a phantom, striking the Reaver again and again, her chronoblade a streak of light, moving faster than he could regenerate, faster than he could even process. While he was staggered, Zog, freed from the time lock, ripped the Aeon Core from the Reaver's chest. The villain disintegrated into dust and echoes, his final scream swallowed as time itself reclaimed its due. Nina fell to her knees, breathing heavily, the glowing Aeon Core clutched in her hands. The chronoburst had taken its toll. She felt years older. Zog looked at the space where their guide had been. "Echo, they're gone." But then the core in Nina's hands began to glow softly. A small, shimmering hologram of Echo appeared, flickering but smiling. "I gave my remaining hours, so yours may continue." The voice was a single clear tone now, at peace. Nina could only whisper, "Thank you." The hologram smiled one last time, then faded into nothing. They returned the Aeon Core to its housing within the time cradle. Instantly, a wave of calm washed over the planet. The floating rocks settled gently to the ground. The rivers reversed their course and began to flow normally. The chaotic sky brightened into a serene golden hue. Back aboard the Astral Phoenix, safely in orbit, Zog looked over at his captain. "We survived a collapsing timeline. Again, Captain, someday our time will run out too." Nina stood at the viewport, watching the now peaceful planet recede. She smiled, a small, tired, but determined expression. "Then let's make every second count." The ship's engines roared to life, and the Astral Phoenix jumped into hyperspace, carving a brilliant path across the endless waiting stars, ready for whatever came next. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures. See you in the next one.